Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Chinaza's Life. Whether this is your first time tuning into my channel or if you are a returning subscriber, I just want to take the time to thank you for tuning in with me today. So as the title suggests, today's video will be health related. I'll be going through the ins and outs of just what's been going on with my health journey, whether that comes down to exercise or my diet or just my overall well-being. I last gave you guys an update on this back in August, but literally so many different things have changed, have happened since then, especially as it relates to my diet. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. So in my last health related video, which I said was back in August, where things left off was basically me doing intermittent fasting, but actually letting you guys know that I was going to be stopping that. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with what intermittent fasting is, long story short, the best way to describe it is that you're going through a fasting period and then you have an eating window where you're able to eat. So I was doing the 16 to 8 fast, which meant that I was fasting for 16 hours of the day, meaning I wasn't eating anything. And then I had an 8-hour eating period. I also was then able to move on to the 18 to 6 fast, which similarly was basically fasting for 18 hours and then having a 6-hour eating window. And for some days I even took it to extremes and did the 20 to 4 fast, meaning that I was fasting for 20 hours of the day and having a 4-hour eating window. So in doing so, I was basically able to skip a meal, thus creating a calorie deficit. It was working well for me. However, I kind of began to feel like trapped by it in a way. I feel like I was so obsessed with keeping on track, and I would really feel bad or like beat myself up if I basically ate outside of this window. I specifically remember many times where, let's say I was trying to stick to the 20 to 4 fast, like I would feel great during those hours, but then as the night hours crept in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to eat until like 2 p.m. tomorrow. And it's like 11 p.m. and my eating window had ended since 6 p.m. I'm like, this is a lot. And I literally would feel so guilty that I was literally having a snack, even if it was a healthy snack. So that's basically what made me stop, just because I felt so restricted. And even though I stopped, I still wanted to continue eating healthy, continue working out and all these different types of things. So for a while, probably I'd say starting in September, I didn't necessarily have a set workout schedule, which I'll get into later, but I also didn't really have as strict of a diet regimen, I'd want to say. Because typically I stay away from fast foods, I stay away from fried foods, and I also stay away from red meat. However, I'd say during the month of September, I was kind of just eating whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and also not really working out. And in doing so, I realized that I'm like, okay, like you're low-key going out of control, sis, like what's going on? Because although I like to eat what I eat and I'm always like, oh, like I'll just like eat that less, there was not really a set restriction on, okay, you can have fast food once a month or you can have red meat twice. It was just kind of like I was literally eating whatever popped into my head. I'm like, yep, I'm about to go eat that right now. So it was low-key a free-for-all, because even with my late night snacking, like I was going on fast food runs in the middle of the night, all that type of stuff like that. So honestly, once October rolled around, I told myself, I'm like, okay, sis, like, you know, that was all fun last month, but we can't be doing that anymore. And guys, I actually started Insanity, I want to say in late September or early October. But one thing that I do want to point out when starting a program that's as intensive as Insanity, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically a high intensive workout program where you have like these bursts of like 30 minutes to 45 minutes of a workout, sometimes even up to an hour. And it's not, I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. It's actually very hard, especially if you're not someone who's athletic. But however, you know, if you keep on building your endurance and keep on doing it day in and day out, you will obviously get better with time. But for me, like, I thought that I could stick to it, but I feel like I want to have fun with my workouts. I think that that was what was missing, because if I was having fun with Insanity, then I would have kept on going. But like, it just felt like a force. Like, I literally felt like I was dying every time I was working out. I did not look forward to it at all. And I feel like that's what's important to me when it comes to my workout journey, is that I want to have fun when I'm working out. So it takes me back to the days where I used to be going to the gym and going to like Zumba classes. I literally used to be in there like having mad fun, but I feel like when it came to Insanity, I was not enjoying that at all. I literally felt miserable, so that's why I had stopped doing it. And I'm also remembering too, when I originally did Insanity way many years ago, I was still in high school and I was on the track team. So of course I was already in shape, so that's why it was easier for me to do it. Same thing when I was doing it in college, I was in shape more than I am now, so it was easier for me to stick to that. But being that I was kind of so far out of shape now, it just didn't really make sense realistically for me to stick to that. So even though I was stopping Insanity, I told myself, I'm like, okay, you stop, but what's up next? Because I think that for me, I don't want to just be doing workout programs and then go back to my regular lifestyle. Because again, Insanity is something that's like, I believe it's a 30-day program or it might be a 60-day program. But the point is that I want to incorporate something into my lifestyle that I can be able to do like every single day, or that I can be able to do multiple times a week and literally enjoy it, not feel like I'm dying every 2 seconds or I'm out of breath every 2 seconds. Now, of course, there's going to be those workouts that are going to have me like that as the intensity builds up. But I feel like in trying to get back on track with things, jumping into a workout program that is as intensive as Insanity was just didn't make sense for me per se. Now, if you're someone who's definitely more athletic, who you feel like you're more in shape, I'd definitely say go ahead and try a program like that. But I just knew I needed something different. And then my brother actually started going on walks kind of around our neighborhood or just in different parks, and I started tagging along, and he would go for like 4.5 miles. And normally me, when I would go on a walk, it would be like a mile or like 2 miles. But that 4.5 miles, it takes about an hour and a half, and y'all, it feels like a whole full body workout, because by the time that you get home, your body will be so sore. But I started to realize that I'm like, wow, I actually really enjoyed that. Like, I feel like that's something that I can actually keep up with. That's something that's more manageable. And I've kind of started trying to incorporate that in more and more, whether that's going after I eat lunch, especially now that the weather is really nice too. I feel like I want to take advantage of doing things outdoors as much as possible, because I've never really been like someone who loves being like, let's say, on a treadmill or on the exercise bike. Even though those are a convenience to be able to have in my home, I do prefer to work out outside or basically at a gym. And with the walking, guys, like I feel like I honestly started to feel changes I feel like I honestly started to notice changes not only in how my body was looking, but also in how I was feeling. I feel like this did so good for my mental health as well, because usually on these walks is where some of my greatest ideas for like content come, where I'm just able to clear my head, where if I'm stressing over a certain situation, I just find so much clarity. So aside from the benefits of like the health wise, it's definitely like physical health wise, it's definitely beneficial to your mental health as well. So whatever that activity is for you that you can kind of try to incorporate in your daily life, I would definitely recommend, that you at least try walking, see if you like it, see if it's having the same effects on you as it is on me. Because let me tell you something. The fact that I don't have to be huffing and puffing, but I'm still getting an active workout in there is amazing. So let's go ahead and get into my diet. So as far as my diet, I have been limiting my red meats. I've been kind of telling myself that, okay, no sis, like no red meat until Thanksgiving. However, I have strayed away from this. I've probably had red meat about 3 to 4 times, I want to say, during this time. Like, as far as I said that back in September, now it's November, obviously, and now Thanksgiving is in about 2 weeks. Because listen, like, one thing about me is that once Thanksgiving roll around, like, y'all, I'm going in. Like, I'm having multiple plates. There's no rules on Thanksgiving. There's no rules like the first like 3-4 days of leftovers, and then after that I'll ease back into my healthy eating. But the point is that I know that I'm about to go in for Thanksgiving, so just in preparation I wanted to make sure to actually stick to that, as well as limiting my sweets. I feel like I'm someone who's candy obsessed, but honestly now that I've had my braces, like I feel like I'm kind of scared to be eating candy, just because like I'm not trying to break no brackets. I'm not trying to have these braces on for any longer than I need them to be on. So I feel like when it comes to my sweets intake, I've been super good with that. Even as it relates to fast food, I used to tell myself, okay, you could have fast food once a month, or you could have a cheat meal and it could be fast food every now and again. And I used to even have a cheat meal once a week. But I feel like now some weeks I'm just not really even feeling like kind of like teetering myself off track, or like I don't even crave certain foods like that. Because y'all, I don't know what it is, but I feel like once you start kind of eating cleaner, like your body kind of starts to reject foods that may be like extra processed. So meaning like those fast food foods versus like having something that's like a nice home cooked meal. Because literally every time that I have fast food, like I'll be on the toilet, sorry if it's TMI, but I'll be on the toilet for a minute, like regretting what I ate. I'm like, dang, it was not worth it at all, because of what is happening. Like I feel like I literally don't find myself craving those things for that reason. And also just because I feel like I've learned to enjoy cooking much more now, especially for the fact that I'm not doing the intermittent fasting anymore. Again, like I felt like just kind of trapped in that. I felt kind of restricted. But I feel like now, for the first time in my life, really, like I don't feel like food is just like a part of my day now, versus seeing it as like, oh, you can only have this, or like, oh, like you better not eat that or else you're gonna gain like X amount of pounds. Like I feel like I'm having now a better relationship with food now that I'm just realizing that like what I put into my body is so important, and it literally can have an impact on my day, whether that's the energy levels I'm having or whether that's how I'm feeling. And you know, it's just like really a nice journey to continue to be on, just kind of finding out what's working for me, what's not working for me, and just really just moving throughout the process of life. And guys, I actually started a 30-day workout program with my friends. It's a 30-day workout by Katya Henry. Workouts by Katya, and actually it's been really good as far as like looking at the meal plans and as far as incorporating in some of those meals into my everyday life. And along with it being a meal plan, it's also a 30-day workout plan as well. And I'm not gonna lie, I have been very inconsistent with the workouts, but I am trying to get back in the rhythm of that. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really only consistent with the workouts for the first week. It is a 30-day program, so there's about 4 weeks. And then I was kind of falling off, being like half and half. But what I will say is that the food plan has been a blessing, because literally like it's taught me how to cook so many different foods that I literally would never have thought of. And actually, I've actually noticed changes, like even though I'm not as consistent with the workouts as I'd like to be, I've actually started to notice changes in my body. And I'm just like, wait a minute. So you're telling me that just, you know, limiting my red meat, limiting my chicken intake, limiting just different things, and kind of eating more greens, more things that are essentially just better for me is actually bringing a change to my body. I feel like once I'm now learning all these things, like it just again allows me to see a different relationship with my food and kind of the importance of what you are putting into your body. So moving forward, I'm going to continue to keep you guys updated. I actually want to do like a what I eat in the day type of video, just showing you guys the healthy meals that I'm able to make that are actually tasting good, because I feel like that's something that I kind of needed, is knowing that just because a meal is healthy doesn't mean that it has to taste healthy. And what I mean by that is that sometimes they be trying to get you to eat all these bland foods. I'm like, nah sis, where's the seasoning? Like we need that. But trust me, there's so many ways to make your food that it can still be healthy but still like flavorful and everything like that. So definitely be sure to look out for a what I eat in a day video. And I also want to kind of start vlogging that journey / just more vlogging in general, just to kind of show, you know, the imperfections, that there be ups and downs. There literally will be some days where I have to force myself to work out even though I don't want to. And then it ends up being the best workout ever. And I'm just like, wow, like if I had just forced myself to all these days, like I would be snatched by now. And that's all that I have for today, guys. I just want to take the time to thank you for tuning in with me. I really appreciate it. Make sure to keep up with me over on Instagram, especially as it relates to my stories. I often will show you guys what I'm eating for breakfast, what I'm eating for lunch, what I'm eating for dinner, different snacks that I'm having throughout the day. So, you know, if you want the exclusive drip before it hits over here on YouTube, definitely make sure to follow me over there at Chinazaz Life. And guys, you can now stay connected with me over on Twitter at Chinazaz Life as well. I made that executive decision to go ahead and switch things over there to be just reflecting that same name. So now you can find me on all social platforms that I'm on. So that's Twitter, that's Pinterest, that's here over on YouTube. And then I feel like I'm forgetting something. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And TikTok. TikTok is number 5, so you can find me on all those 5 platforms over at Chinazaz Life. And that's all I got for today, y'all. 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 Hey. Thanks so much, guys, again, and I'll see you back for my next one.